Hey, you remember those outrageous moments in rock, like when Ozzy Osbourne bit off a live dove's head? Or when Madonna bit off a... No, when she showed women enjoying eroticism? Or Marilyn Manson growing breasts? Ugh. Oh, and nobody could forget when Tommy Lee shot his own homegrown video. I can't, and I haven't slept since. These are artists that aren't only known by their music, but by their astonishing and sometimes appalling behavior as well. Tonight's topic, most shocking band or artist. And here's how it works. Each of our guests, as well as members of our studio audience, have brought their picks. And they'll debate those choices before voting on the top 3 most shocking bands or artists. I'm the shocking Steven Weber. This is VH1, and you are on the list. Okay, our first guest's middle name is Shock. Is that Jewish? He performed his inhuman feats with various artists, such as 9 Inch Nails, not to mention on TV shows like The X-Files. And who knows, maybe The List will be his newest addition. We've laid newspaper under his chair. Please welcome the founder of Jim Rose's Circus, Jim Rose. Yeah. Okay. Now, this guy is a successful actor, which is pretty remarkable since he's drunk off his ass. You may remember him from his role in Can't Hardly Wait. And now you can see him every week on Fox's new drama, Freaky Links. Please welcome Ethan Embry. Yeah. And our next guest is very talented, very funny lady. This is her 6th season on Fox's successful Mad TV. Please say hello to the lovely Deborah Wilson. And finally, our last guest is the talented lead singer of the group Typo Negative. Their compilation CD, The Least Worst of Typo Negative, is being released this Halloween. Please give a hand for Peter Steele.
All right, enough.
Yeah, I have a jar of Peter Steele next to my bed. Now, before we get going, let's take a look at the bands and artists you think are absolutely shocking.
Because I'm Slim Shady.
To me, a shocking artist is Eminem because he's totally whacked out and crazy.
I think the totally shocking artist is Blink-182 because they just run down the streets naked.
A band called Prodigy. Their crazy ass lyrics. Parents hate that.
Marilyn Manson.
Limp Bizkit.
Ozzy Osbourne.
Rob Zombie.
Guns N' Roses.
Tommy Lee, because of that video that he made with his lovely wife.
Shocking! Okay. Mother, it's time to get our guests' choices. Jim, let's start with you, my friend. What's your second choice?
My second choice for most shocking artist. First of all, I had to come up with the criteria.
Right.
And for me, they have to be innovative, and they have to rock with their shock.
Rock with the shock.
So my second choice, is someone that cannot be predicted. I don't think he can even predict himself. When he walks out on stage, it's like a bull in a china shop. Everything gets destroyed. It feels intensely dangerous. I'm picking Trent Reznor of 9 Inch Nails.
Okay. All righty then. Very good. He's shocking. His hygiene is a little shocking too. Okay, Ethan. What's your second choice?
Okay, my runner-up, I picked because I've been to 3 of their shows, And usually when you're in a show, you're in the craziness of it. People are shoving you around. You might get clipped. You get a little bit of blood on your face. No big deal. These guys,
Fun.
yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, bring the kids.
When you, of course, on one of those Baby Bjorn things, you look around and everybody is covered in blood. Everybody. I mean, these guys, they cut up each other on stage. The lead singer has a 4-foot-long penis that he masturbates and
So
sprays white
it's feel-good music.
It's,
in
yes,
other words,
it's
good, yeah.
it's reminiscent
Okay,
of the early Beatles with "I Want to
Yeah.
Hold Your Hand" kind of sort of stuff. So I picked Guar.
Guar. Guar. Right, guar.
Wait a minute.
Well,
Ethan.
why did you pick Guar?
Look
Why?
at them. Look at these outfits. I mean, it's like you go there. They've got
No.
this guy. It's disgusting.
Now, Guar is a comedy. How do you
It's a
get
comedy.
shocked when you're rolling in the aisles laughing hysterically?
All I can say, the last show that I went to, they had Monica Lewinsky and Bill Clinton, like big costumes. And,
I know.
And it
was hysterical.
It's absolutely hysterical. But for the masses, I mean, it's pretty shocking stuff. But hey, X it off if you want to. I got better.
Guar.
Guar.
I love Guar, though.
Deborah?
Masters of the Underworld.
Yeah, but here's what's interesting about Guar, because they're a media thing. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But the thing is, just because they're a media thing, I think they're looking for the attention to do that more than anything else, as opposed to the criteria. And I definitely agree with your criteria. In fact, I want to add on to that criteria. I think it's also important that they be as shocking in their personal life, because if you're just doing it for a stage thing, which Guar is, I mean, they could be totally perfect Christian boys at home. And so it's interesting if the shock value is just, you know what, let us do this and perpetuate an image, as opposed to being
If they don't
really
leave it at
shocking,
the
like
office, they
old
bring it home
rockers
with them.
are really shocking. But I'm going to go with my second choice, and my second choice was actually Marilyn Manson.
Okay.
Now,
Now, did you know that he was on Mr. Belvedere?
yeah, I
He
know
was
that.
a little kid on Mr.
I
Belvedere.
know that, but
You don't
Marilyn
bring that
Manson
home.
grew up. Marilyn Manson grew up, and I think what makes Marilyn Manson an interesting choice for me is that he's a culmination of a lot of things that you've seen in rock. He is not the predecessor, but he's taken everything from his predecessors and taken it and kicked it up a notch.
Deborah?
Yeah, he's done
Absolutely.
that.
Deborah, calm down. Take it easy. Now let's move on to Peter Steele. Shocking, second choice, Peter?
My second choice.
We love it. Okay. Sounds
Let me just say
good.
this.
Okay, cool.
If it doesn't upset people, it's
Yeah.
not rock music. It has to upset the church. It has to upset your parents.
Right.
Has to upset the school system.
Okay.
So I chose Rammstein from Germany because.
Rammstein.
Let me talk. Because they upset both left-wing people and right-wing people.
Rammstein.
And they set themselves on fire.
That's always a bonus. Now, as much as we love hearing from our great panelists,
A turkey burger with
keep your
sprouts,
tasers
you
on
know?
stun. And we've decided to also include our viewing audience in making the list, or in Germany, der List. So now it's time to hear the voice of the people. So let's go to a lucky member of our studio audience. So we've got Brad from Baltimore.
What's up,
What do you want to put on the list, Brad?
He's the biggest star in the world. He's shocking. He's talented. And unfortunately, he stole Vanilla Ice's career. My choice is Eminem.
Eminem. Eminem.
More than anything else, Eminem, I think if you had to look at the difference between shocking and controversial, I think Eminem would fall more into the category of controversial than shocking.
But if you want to talk about shock and comedy, I mean, that music cracks me up.
Yeah.
That one when he's singing about killing his wife, she's in the back of the trunk, and he's doing it in baby talk.
Yeah.
It's hysterical.
Well,
I mean, you can't-
Eminem,
you can't
Vanilla
go to
Ice,
grain with
it's
salt,
like
you
but
know?
it's stuff you have at a
yeah,
kid's
but then
birthday
again,
party,
the question
right?
is it shocking
I didn't
or
mean to
is
give
it
you mushrooms,
controversial?
girl.
Okay, well,
You know, it's
while
funny.
this interesting badinage is going on, we have to take a short break. But when we come back, we'll get our guests' number one choices, plus more picks from our viewers. So stay with us to be shocked. Shocking. Welcome back to the list. Our topic today is most shocking band or artist. Calm down. We've already heard the second choices from our panelists and studio audience, and so now it's time to get to the number one picks. Okay, Big Jim. What's
My
your
number one
my
pick,
friend?
remembering the criteria, you've
Right.
got to shock with
Shock-
your rock.
shock with the rock.
You've got to be innovative.
Right.
Anyone before the person I'm about to mention may have shocked the public, but would always not understand why they were doing it. From this point on, shocking was contrived and part of the genre, and my pick for #1 is Alice Cooper.
Alice Cooper. Yeah. The master. 60.
He definitely made parents lock the doors.
Alice Cooper. And his snake. And what most shocking of all about him is now he's a big golfer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just went golfing.
Yeah. Cool. Ethan, what do you got?
I would agree with that.
My #1 choice, I chose him off of a documentary that he had a while ago called Hated. If you watch this, it will change your life. You will never look at anything the same again.
Yeah.
His debut album was Eat My He got people to show up.
Can you say on this show?
That's what I was wondering.
Okay.
He got people to show up to his shows by saying that this would be the show that he will commit suicide at.
Yeah.
I will kill myself at this show. And
Sort of
he got
like how I
close.
feel now.
Kind of, sort of like that. My first choice is Gigi Allen.
Gigi Allen.
You gotta rock with your shock, though.
I've seen this video, man.
The music sucks.
The music sucks.
Gigi Allen and the Murder Junkies was his band, man, and it was, I saw
Among
this
other
video.
ones, I don't know which.
I don't know,
two
but,
bands.
and he had his brother.
That's the only thing we can show on VH1, because everything else is too shocking.
It was too violent. He would punch the audience. He was just a great. He was
defecate on himself and rub it into his cuts and.
He was at my bar mitzvah. He was the band at my bar mitzvah.
It's a good gig, isn't it?
Hey, listen.
And he is.
What he does with the baklava?
No,
unheard of.
Okay.
Oi!
That's Greek, Ethan. Stay in school. Deborah?
All right, I have to admit, I don't know who Gigi Allen is.
Check him
out. But again, I don't think so. But I think the criteria, again, would have to be someone who shocks and rocks, because we do want them to be artists. We do want them to be musicians, and real musicians of a certain caliber. So with someone like this, I would say, which came first, the chicken or the egg, the music or the shock?
But how can you take political license and judge art? Art is art, and art is in the eye. It's like beauty.
I understand that, but we're not just talking about art in general. We're talking about music. We're not talking about fine arts. We're not talking about drawing. We're not talking about performance artists. We're here on a show about music. So the art we're talking about specifically is music. So with that in mind, and keeping again the criteria of Jim Rose, I'd have to say #1 for me, knowing that this person came up with a very, very depressed childhood in England,
right?
And everything that he's done, whether it was perpetuated and stereotyped into something larger, still came from that type of background. I mean, he shot chickens in his backyard out of frustration. People said, "Yeah, man, he loves to."
Again. My father was killed by a chicken. Okay? Sorry.
So sorry.
Chickens. Mother?
Oh, you.
Hey.
Can you say clock on VH1?
Eat my clock. Eat my clock.
But this man had such a depressed and dysfunctional. I don't know which one you want to talk about after the show.
We'll talk after the show.
But you know, he had such a depressed childhood. He came from such a dysfunctional background.
She's directing all of it at me.
Was a thief at the age. Started left school at 15.
Who was it, Deborah? Who's your first
I'll give you a hint.
22
Everybody knows
minutes.
Bit the head off a bat. Bit the head off doves. Ozzy Osbourne.
Ozman.
But look at him now. Did you go to Ozfest last year? He's standing there. He's doing jumping jacks.
But
now Ozzy Osbourne now doing jumping jacks. Shocking.
But Ozzy Osbourne likes to
trying to get the
perpetuate
bad
situations
to fall out of him.
because he loves to create and perpetuate metal music, and that's what he does as an artist as well as a shocking
I
artist.
did a private show for Ozzy, and he made his kids leave the room.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's shocking.
So that shocked me.
Shocking.
Yeah.
He's pretty amazing.
Ozzy.
Peter?
Started it.
Yes.
Peter, do you have a first shocking pick?
Yes, I do.
Okay. What is it?
Okay. We're going to have to go back to the 1950s where most of the people here were just an urge between their father's legs.
Okay.
This is the guy who started the whole thing. This is the guy who inspired the Beatles and every band after that, Black Sabbath, Deep Purple. Mr. Gyration himself, Elvis Presley.
Yeah. You can't go wrong, man. Can't go wrong.
Sex, baby.
Sex.
Sex.
Shocking.
What he was doing back in the 50s on TV sitcoms, you couldn't even show married couples sleeping in the same bed. You had to have separate beds.
He broke through the
But question,
membrane.
would you consider him shocking? I mean, and during that time period, yes,
Absolutely.
but for right now, would you
Absolutely
consider
not.
him more shocking or more
The
controversial?
one thing that shocks me about Elvis Presley is that every #1 hit that he had, Chuck Berry wrote 5 years before he ever played it.
Yes.
Which shocks the hell out of me.
That's very true.
That he
Shocking?
never got credit.
Because black entertainers,
Shocking? Maybe so.
black entertainers at that time.
Once again, though, it's time to give voice to our viewers.
off,
Sorry,
man.
sorry, Peter. Just say, I'll be right with you.
I'm not cooking.
We have Jennifer from New York City in our audience. All right, New York, what would you like to add?
My choice, can you hear me? My choice isn't so controversial, shocking today, but for their time they were, because of their explicit lyrics and their sexually graphic album cover, I'd pick 2 Live Crew.
2 Live Crew, all right. 2 Live Crew. I'll take it, right? Tipper's favorite. Tipper's favorite. We've also been hearing from you at home who have logged on to vh1.com, and we've selected one email choice to be added to the list. And it is from Adam from Nebraska. And he writes,
Harry Potter
Madonna,
reading all of a sudden.
Madonna is one of the most shocking artists of our time. She was the first to show a woman being comfortable with her sexuality, and think of her statement when she burned crosses and kissed an eroticized black Jesus in her video like a prayer. She took shocking to the public and made it into her success. She's shocking.
All right.
Look, she's shocking me.
Definitely.
Okay.
She's
The
shocking.
first female that was shocking, that was Wendy O. Williams.
Wendy O. Williams.
Spasmatics.
I see her driving. I saw her driving down
definitely say that.
Columbus Avenue in a pink. Anyway, pink caddy. Okay, we've got a great list, but it's elimination time. My favorite time of the day. We need to take 4 off the list, so take a look up there. Jim, let's start with you, man. It's a
How many
tough
am I allowed
decision.
to take off?
You got to just take off 1.
I can only take off 1.
Take off 1.
I got to
shockologist.
take Gigi Allen off. You got to shock with your rock.
Whoa!
Okay, Gigi Allen.
That hurts!
He's going to hit the skids.
Ouch!
You got more.
If it hurts, then okay, good. Okay,
Well,
so
then.
next, okay, Ethan. Ethan, let's go.
I'm gonna go.
What do you got?
I think I'm gonna go with. I might have to take the Marilyn Manson off.
Why is that?
She's just far too commercial. It's just it's made for.
Although it's commercial, is it shocking? That's the bottom line. We're not talking about whether it's commercial or not. We're talking about whether it's shocking.
Yeah, but
Okay, Deborah.
is it contrived marketing?
It is
shock?
contrived marketing for the purpose of shock value.
We
It's-
understand that, but is it shock?
It doesn't shock me.
Guys,
Okay.
this is a sort of a lighthearted music show.
I'm asking a question.
What do you
Black
want
woman
to
gets
take
a little
off?
loud, and all of a sudden it's not uprising.
Okay. What do you want to take off?
I love you. Kidding,
you
love
ha-
you.
Shut down. Good.
And if that's the case, then I will go. I'm gonna, you are my predecessor. So
There
then
you go.
if that's the case, I would have to take off guar.
Guar. How do you take off guar? With a little alcohol? Little paint thinner?
Little paint thinner, take it
You're
right
over,
off.
man.
I'm knocked out. Hey, have a nice night. Take it easy.
Now,
Sit down!
But I'm following your lead. You're right. If it's commercial and it's
Peter?
a little too commercial for that,
I'm
guar.
going to let her
Will you
first.
help us out? What? No. Help us out. Help us out. Peter, what would you like to take
Well,
off?
any creature born with testicles is a born liar.
Thank
as-
God
as-
I
as
always tell the
women know.
truth then.
As women
Go
know.
ahead. Okay.
Fortunately
have,
for
like,
me, I have 4
ganglia.
testicles,
4.
but I could be lying. So I'm going to totally change my mind. I'm going to totally change my mind and take off Elvis Presley. I changed my
Are you
mind.
insane?
Wow.
But use your own guy.
I lied.
I'll second that though.
Take them off already. Let's
take 'em
come on.
off.
Come
I
on.
would
Chop,
second
chop.
that.
Okay,
I'll
let's
second
take him
Elvis.
off. And
Schnell.
let's take that
Schnell,
second
baby,
set of
Schnell.
testicles off too, my friend. Okay, and during the commercial break, our studio audience will cast their votes, and when we come back, we'll not only be revealing the top 3 most shocking bands or artists, but Jim Rose, my hero, is going to perform a shocking feat for us all that you do not want to miss. Welcome back to the list. The choices have been debated. Our audience has cast their votes, but before we announce the top 3 most shocking bands or artists, let's take a look at the final choices our audience had to pick from. What a list. I haven't seen a list like that since... Okay, drum roll, please. All right. Okay. Here is the list of the most shocking bands or artists. Okay. Number 3 is Eminem. Eminem. Number 2 is Madonna. And the number 1 choice for most shocking band or artist is Ozzy. Each of our panelists. I want to thank our studio audience and, of course, you at home. I'm Stephen Weber. This is VH1, and we'll see you next time on the list. But now, as we promised, my man Jim Rose, today's most shocking circus man, is going to take us out by swallowing 4 razor blades and making them reappear, I guess, from anywhere he wants. Oh. He has to clean all his old shaves out of his underpants. He's now going to sew up the wound.
Stephen Weber hosts a brand new panel to rank the best voice in music on The List tomorrow at 7, only on VH1.